Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Tian, and in today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the M7 World Championship Aurora Gaming Philippines is run, and why I believe it is the most dominant run in the history of Mobile Legends. Why this version would beat any team. First of all, let's talk about everything about Aurora, right? Let's talk about what happened before the tournament, what happened at like beginning of the tournament. This team participated in GOTF, which was kind of like a little tournament before M7, something completely separated. They lost to Onyx ID in the final. A lot of people are overreacting, saying that, oh, Aurora, they're gonna get destroyed, blah, blah, blah. At M7, and then we come to M7, right? We come to M7. Aurora didn't really perform that well in the first game, best of one against Team Liquid. They got dominated. I'm not gonna lie. At that point, guys, as an Aurora fan, I was getting kind of, I was getting kind of scared, kind of nervous, kind of worried. Where's the team morale? They lost to Onyx ID at GOTF, and now they lost the best of one to Team Liquid Philippines, their biggest rivals. A team that had their number in the finals. Then they proceeded to win every single remaining match of the Swiss stage. They just completely dominated every single team. The CFU game was honestly kind of close, closer than expected. And then we go into the knockouts, right? We go into the knockouts. They get drawed against Team Liquid Philippines, their biggest rivals. A lot of people are like, oh, same thing's gonna happen. Team Liquid is gonna clutch up. I knew Aurora was gonna win. Like I obviously believed in this team. And this is really where we start talking about why this team is just unstoppable when everything goes as planned. When this team starts playing proper Mobile Legends, when they are playing at their absolute best, there's no team that can beat them. The drafts are just incredible. I mean, let's take a look at this game one draft in this series. Yuzan Basha, Kimi, Granger, Grok. They outdrafted Team Liquid here, right? Team Liquid, their draft, they don't have that much damage in their draft, right? Their main damage sources are Farsa and YSS, while Aurora have multiple ways of really doing damage. They have essentially four damage dealers because even Basha is going to be doing a lot of damage since he built Blade Armor this game. We go into game two. Aurora, the Esme pick wasn't really the best. Same thing with the Lunox pick. Granted, they did throw this game, and then in game three, I actually think Team Liquid outdrafted them. But like this was one of the rare times where I actually think Aurora got like outdrafted back-to-back games, but they still ended up winning. They clutched up. The thing about this game is that Aurora was literally losing, and then they came back. Same thing in game one. Like they just enabled the clutch factor that they were always missing. And they just did it. They execute these drafts so well when things go right. When they win a team fight, they snowball. They can easily win the game. And we've seen this even this season where Aurora will come back from these massive deficits. Then we go on to round two against Alter Ego, a team that was undefeated up until this point, and then they dominate them. They dominate the team that a lot of people are like, is Alter Ego going to drop a game? Are they going to go on this insane run? They dominate them 3-1. They smashed them. They destroyed them. Alter Ego did win a game. Um, Honestly, that was a good draft from Aurora. Alter Ego just played really, really good that game. And then in game three, Aurora just out executed them. They won the first turtle, and then from there, the game was over. Like the thing about Aurora is that in a lot of these games, they dominate the early game so badly that the game is pretty much impossible to come back from. Like they put you in checkmate essentially, where you cannot get out of your base because they'll just get lowered. And if you get out of your lord, they'll just end the game. And after the first turtle, they just snowball so like the snowball is so incredibly hard that it's almost impossible to win against this team, especially if they win the early game. Like you'd have to play perfect team fighting wise. And even then, this team just finds ways to just outclass you, outdo you. The reason why like Aurora is just so good is because obviously the system that's implemented in this team with Master the Basics, like the blacklist system of Aurora, with ex players on blacklist like Edward, Yue, the coach, Master the Basics, like this team has that blacklist imprinted on them everywhere. Like all the players would play like blacklist. They're modern day blacklist. They play like them so if like this team plays so efficiently when everything goes well. And honestly, the cool part about Aurora is that their adaptability, their hero pool, is the fact that this team can play multiple different styles. I mean, just first of all, look at the different drafts. Every single draft is different from Aurora. Like every single game, they have a different XP laner. Every single game, they have a different jungler. Like this team can play multiple different styles. Demon Kite in this series played five different junglers, and he played well in pretty much every single one of them. So this team is just so good. They're so well polished. They're so balanced. They're so well rounded. And they just have the best players in the world in every single position. And you combine everything that I said and you put it into one and you get just this dominant force. First of all, they were down 2-1 against this series. They needed to win back-to-back games to make the finals because Aurora cannot afford to make it get dropped down the losers bracket, especially with how competitive this M7 was. And that didn't happen, bro. They drafted Yuzon, Fredrin, Kimmy, Granger, and Hylos. Such an insanely good draft. They drafted it and they dominate them. Yes, they took a while to end this game because SRG were having a really good base defense. But in that game five, Light had a masterclass. That is one of the best games I've ever seen a Roam player have. Light single-handedly won this team the game. He had a flank on Stormy where he literally solo killed him. And then the rest of the team just won their fight, their individual fights. Like this team, they're they were always one step ahead. They see things that we don't see. The macro is incredible. The micro, the second decisions, the clutch factor. Like this team, it doesn't matter if they're down 0-2, they will always find a way to come back. It doesn't matter if they're down 5, 10,000, 15,000 gold lead. They can still come back. They can still out macro you. They can still out team fight you. It is so difficult to beat the system. It is so difficult to beat a team like Aurora because they can play so many different ways and you don't know how to counter that because there is no counter to that. Then we go on to the final. Alter Ego. So Aurora's path to the final was Team Liquid Philippines, who is one of the greatest teams of all time. They would have been the greatest team of all time if they won M7. You have Alter Ego, who was is one of the greatest Indonesian teams ever. I mean, the run that they had was incredible. Nobody expected them to make finals. You have SRG, best Malaysian team ever. They were on the peak of their powers. Like Aurora beat all of them dominantly, bro. Honestly, like in the games that they win, most of the time it was dominant. Alter Ego, this was the fastest finals ever. I think that's actually a stat. I don't like, I'm not 100% sure if that's a stat, but I guarantee you this was the fastest finals ever. It was the most dominant finals ever. 4-0 is insane. No game went over 16 minutes. Two games ended in under 12 minutes. It was fucking insane how dominant this team was. I mean, some of these games weren't even going to the late game because Aurora was just winning the games. They were winning the games in the first 3, 4 minutes, bro. When Turtle would spawn and Aurora would win every single turtle, the game was just over. Alter Ego just could never come back. And Alter Ego is such a good team fighting team. They're such a good macro team. They're such a good micro team. And they just couldn't come back. Aurora just outdid them in everything. They were draft gapped at every single game. This team is just unstoppable. They are the greatest team ever. When I'm looking at just a singular tournament, when I'm just looking at a specific team peak where they peaked at the right moment, no team can stop this team. Like this team would dominate every single team in the history of Mobile Legends. No matter what team played them on this day, January 25th, 2026, bro, they were just unstoppable. They were miles ahead of the second best team in the world, which was Alter Ego. Like they were miles, and I mean miles above them. So Aurora just this is how Aurora just defined an era. Like this is a new era for Mobile Legends. The Aurora dominance is going to continue, but they defined an era. They defined that this is how Mobile Legends should be played. The Ube strat, the utility junglers, the utility mage, the front to back Roman XPs, the late game hyperscaling gold laners. This is how Mobile Legends should be played. Onyx made their own era with the assassin jungler. Same thing with Bren with the utility, but they didn't do it as good as Aurora. Aurora can do assassin, Aurora can do fighter, utility. Like this team has so many different identities, and it's just mind blowing how they're able to execute it so good, so efficiently. I really don't see any team being able to beat this team. The scary thing is that this team is going to continue to get better. I think there's a massive gap, honestly, right now. Aurora is the best team in the world, and then there's a massive gap. It doesn't matter who the fuck is second place. There's a massive gap. Um, and let me just tell you this, for the people that disagree when I say that this is the most dominant team ever, look at the era, look at the teams that they did this against. They did this against Alter Ego, Team Liquid, SRG. They even beat Team Spirit, bro. Like this team was just on a mission, bro. That loss against Team Liquid Philippines in the best of one just completely switch them, bro. That's why losing sometimes is better, bro. Sometimes losing earlier is better than losing later because losing later can be detrimental. You can't adapt that fast. You don't know how to react to certain situations because you weren't expecting to lose. But they lost early, and and after they lost, they just went on to win every single series. They won the whole thing. They looked so good while doing so. Like, and the clutch factor. I mean, we have to talk about like this team became so clutch, and it was always a meme. Like Aurora would make finals, and then they would just lose, choke Roar. This team can never win M7. They can never win a tournament because they don't have the clutch factor. They're the Gen G of MOBB. People would have them a tier below the best tier in their tier list because they just couldn't trust them because they thought they were gonna choke. And they just proved everybody wrong. They just completely proved everybody wrong. And the thing is, they didn't change their identity. They just enabled the clutch factor, which is all they needed. That's always been what Aurora needed, the clutch factor, because they had everything else. They had the micro, they had the macro, they had the system, they had the drafting, they had the early game plan. They knew how to team fight incredibly well. They knew how to do setups. It was just the clutch factor. When it mattered most, they couldn't get it done. And now that they've won the biggest tournament in the history of Mobile Legends, they're gonna keep winning because once you taste victory, and especially in that matter, it's gonna keep happening. So yeah, Aurora's run was incredible. It was legendary, and I don't think it'll ever be replicated again, to be honest with you. Like I don't think we'll ever see a team dominate this hard in the finals and just beat multiple teams in a row that are in such insane form. I mean, all the teams that they beat were in the peak of their like in some of the players that they were beating were in the peak of their careers, bro. Like SRG's players were looked incredible. Innocent looked fucking insanely good. He looked like the best player in the world, honestly. Team Liquid Philippines was about to do something that's never been done in the history of Mobile Legends, which was win the Golden Road. Like, bro, this team was just unstoppable. They were on a different level. Um, and yeah, bro, I'm just excited to see MPL PH season 17 because I don't think this team is gonna have competition, but I think this team is gonna destroy everybody in their path. And I think they're just gonna keep widening the gap, if I'm being honest. So, yeah. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this. Do you guys agree or disagree? And if you disagree, let me know why you disagree and tell me a team you think could beat this team because I would love to debate anybody on this topic because I don't think this is debatable. I think Aurora is just on a different level. But make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, turn on post notifications for more content. I'm going to be doing more content, especially since MPLPH is around the corner. It's the off season, so we still have a long way to go until the season starts. So let me know what videos you guys want to see. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys.